Welcome to part 2 of how to make a wedding cake. You're going to get a ton of tips, so stay tuned. So part 2 is about filling and frosting the cakes. So as I told you in part 1, it's going to be white chocolate buttercream and raspberries. And I'm going to show you, you're going to see actually me making the buttercream. Now if you want a really detailed tutorial on how to make Italian meringue buttercream, I have one. And it's really awesome and it's on YouTube. So I'll put the link for you beneath the video and also at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you in a little bit. So I've got my sugar syrup cooking. I've got my butter softened and waiting over here. I've got my 6 egg whites waiting in the mixer to be beaten. My salt for a little pinch at the end. Vanilla for flavoring, and I'm going to be adding white chocolate because this is my white chocolate raspberry supreme cake, which is an orange cake, orange butter cake, white chocolate buttercream, and raspberries, and it's like my number one best-selling wedding cake. It's really elegant, it's delicious, it's got a lot of flavor. So this is the one that my brides pick quite often. So you can learn all about this on my YouTube channel or my website. I have all the detailed instructions on how to make Italian meringue buttercream. So what I like to do is use some cold packs on the side to chill the bowl down a little bit. Or you can just walk away and let it cool down on its own. It takes about at least 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave those cold packs on the side there. So my meringue is definitely ready. And then the butter is soft, nice and soft. And I'm just going to add little bits at a time. I'm going to go ahead and whip this. So it starts to come together. And if it's a little soft, then you can just take your ice packs massage the bowl. And a touch of salt, just a tiny bit of salt. You don't have to add the salt. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I forget actually. It's good without the salt too, but the salt just brings out the little bit more of the sweetness. It tastes like vanilla ice cream, like really intense vanilla ice cream. So I have an 11 ounce classic white chips Ghirardelli chocolate, and since this is for a wedding cake, it's not a huge wedding cake, but it's a 12, 9, 6. I'm going to put like probably 3/4 of the bag in there. Probably about 9 ounces. Here's a little tip. If you want to ensure that your white chocolate comes out smooth, just put a few drops of oil in there. And that will help immensely. And also once the burner gets hot, you can shut it off. You got the hot water underneath. You don't want it to get too hot. And just stir it till it melts. I'm gonna add the white chocolate. So something to scoop. I love this spatula. This is a great spatula. It's a Le Creuset. A generous amount. For wedding cakes, I usually do 2 layers, and I fill it really generously because I like a lot of filling. This is the bottom, the first layer of filling, and then I'm going to put the raspberries. And I'm going to put a lot of raspberries. Just like that. Sometimes I will, in some cases, I will open up the raspberry like this and lay it flat. But I want to make this a little higher. And then a ton of buttercream over that. So basically you're sealing in the raspberries, and then the second layer goes on. I think I only have enough for the 12 and the 6 right now. Messy, messy job. And this is the part that they keep, and some people don't keep it, but they eat this the following year. And I've been told by many of the brides that the cakes are wonderful even a year later. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that because you don't want to overfill it. You want to put a lot of raspberries in, but not too close to the edge, because sometimes the juice can leak out. And you definitely don't want that. Buttercream is great because it hardens when you put it in the fridge, holds everything together like glue, and then when you let it sit out for the 6 hours before the wedding, before they actually eat the cake becomes the perfect temperature, so it softens up just enough. So you're safe putting a pretty thick layer in there of buttercream. You wouldn't do this with like a cream, like a pastry cream. That's a lot softer and it would never hold. Now these cakes are cold, so what happens is right away the buttercream starts to set, and that's what you want. So I had some extra buttercream from my weekend Father's Day celebration, and I didn't have to make another batch, which is nice. And I just added some white chocolate. So I'm doing a 12-9-6. I think I mentioned that earlier. I like to do at least a 3-inch to 4-inch difference in size, cake sizes. I like the way it looks. I don't really like it when they're tall and thin. I like a wedding cake to have enough space in between them to kind of look more balanced. To me, it doesn't look balanced when it's like a 10-8-6. Having said that, I have done cakes that were 14-10-8-6, and they look okay, but I prefer a little more of a difference in sizes, which is why I went with a 9-inch cake. So normally I would do a 14, a 10, and a 6. But this cake, this wedding cake, is for a smaller amount of people. It's a small wedding. And actually it serves 75 people. So 12-9-6, the 12 and the 9 will serve 75 people. wedding cake size pieces. They're not giant pieces. This cake, this wedding actually is even smaller than that, but they wanted to have some extra cake so they could take some home. Because a lot of times the bride and groom, they don't get to really enjoy the cake on the day of the wedding because they're so busy running around, greeting everybody, making sure everybody's happy. And I noticed that about the bride and groom. They don't really truly get to relax. So that way they can take the cake home and enjoy it later. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I have a couple more raspberries left. Okay. Another reason why I like to really fill it good is because the layers themselves are thinnish. They're not super thick cake layers. So this adds height to the cake. And if needed, I will put a third layer on here. Because these 9-inch cakes are a bit thin. Thinner than I normally would want. This is a really good one. This is a moist, super moist. This is ideally how I like all my cakes to look. Kind of a pale, a yellow, not orange. There. Cakes are filled and covered up and put back in the fridge for tomorrow. Thanks for watching part 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm linking to part 3 and part 4, which is finishing the cake, and it's really a good video. It's about the caramel, the drip caramel, and it shows you the recipe and how to put the drip on the cake. All right, so I hope you enjoy my videos, and leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.